Okay, so today is 9/11. Why is somebody pulling in our driveway?
I don't know. Maybe they're turning around.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, so today is 9/11. I wanted Kenny and I to tell our stories of where we were and how we reacted to 9/11 happening. Because we were both young. We were both in middle school. So, do you want to tell yours first, or?
You can go first.
So, I was in 6th grade. I was 11 years old when it happened. And I was in business class. I don't remember what period. It was like 3rd period, I think. Except it might have been 2nd period because it was early in the morning. And I remember kids were talking about how a plane ran into a building. And I didn't understand why or what was going on. And I did not understand the terrorist aspect of it. But my principal called for a a meeting or whatever in the auditorium. So the whole school was piled into the auditorium. And it's only 3 grades, so it's not that bad. So we all were in the auditorium, and Mr. Samuelson, I think his name was, I think I'm remembering that wrong, but he told us that today was a serious day, that we should not be smiling or laughing, and I was just like, why? I don't get it. Why? What is going on? And I was scared. So on my way home, and I didn't understand that just these places got attacked. I don't know, I didn't understand the whole thing. And I was walking home from where the bus dropped me, and a plane flew over my head, and I started freaking out, and I ran home because I didn't understand. And my mom had left to go be with my dad, I think, because she wasn't gone. The news was on. So I sat there and watched the news, and I was just horrified. I was horrified. I was confused to why it was happening and why somebody would do something like this. Like, I was kind of a sheltered kid, so that experience was, I think, was my first real, it wasn't traumatic to me, it was traumatic to the whole United States of America, but I don't know, it was just my first crazy, I don't know how to even explain it.
So, I'm sure this is probably well known by you guys by now. I'm older than Jessica. I was 13 at the time, so I cannot claim to be as confused as she was. As for where I was when it actually took place, it's actually fine. I was at home. I should have been at school, but I wasn't. I didn't want to go to school, so I played sick. I was living in Southern Virginia at the time. Let's just say that the geographical area I was living in was not exactly friendly to people like me, and I didn't like going to school. So I was at home, and my mother had left to go and pick up my sister from school. And my mother came back and asked me if I'd watched the news, which of course I hadn't because I was 13. And I said, no, why? And she said, because the bus driver just told me that somebody kamikazed the World Trade Center. Now, kamikaze, I knew what that was. World Trade Center, I didn't know what that was. And, you know, she told me it was building in New York, threw on the news, and, you know, we watched the news for the rest of the day, which, I mean, all the news footage and everything else that was shown, it was a, you know, as Jessica's teacher had said, it was a serious day. It was a strange feeling that I had, because I did understand what terrorism was. And for me, the entire feeling afterwards was a mixture of disbelief at first because, this isn't, things like this aren't supposed to happen to us. We're the, we're
The United States.
we're the United States.
Yeah.
We grew up being told that we were the, most powerful nation in the world. Of course, at that time, we really weren't the most powerful nation in the world, thanks to a certain politician who I'm not going to talk about, but that's neither here nor there. I wouldn't know that till I was older and I started looking into politics. But a lot of anger. Very, very angry. I was 13. Teenagers are angry to begin with, but my home had been attacked. And I'm not a New Yorker, but the United States is my home, and thousands of people, died. And it's not like they died in nice ways. It wasn't quick. It's a horrific thing that has, and not for nothing, the anger didn't go away quickly. That stayed with me for a long time.
You wanted to join the military.
I wanted to join the military before that happened.
Oh, so it was just fueled.
Yeah, it. I wanted to join the Marine Corps at 7 years old. Unfortunately, medical issues did not allow that. I'm an asthmatic, so they said, "Sorry, kid, no go." But and it's just on days like this, like today, I just got home a little while ago. I went to work at I do security, as you all know. I went to a school. I won't say which school, but I've gone to many different schools, and it made me feel. It made me feel good. It made me feel proud that the school actually took the time to not only do the Pledge of Allegiance, because not all the schools do, but to have the moment of silence for the remembrance of those that we lost on 9/11. I was happy. I was very, very proud that the school actually did that, because, as I said, a lot of schools don't, which is a shame. It's things like that stay with you, and now as a parent, I can honestly say, I really, really hope we don't have, events like that to impact our kids.
Yeah.
It seems like every generation has something. I don't know if I can say generation. The biggest attack for our country before 9/11, I believe, was Pearl Harbor. And I remember being in high school, and a World War II vet came to talk to us. And he actually told us, he says, he came to talk on the anniversary of 9/11 that year. And he told us, he says, what December, I forget the date, but he basically was telling us that 9/11 was our Pearl Harbor. That was, for our generation, this was going to be the event that, brought people together and made us strong as a country, which is what it should have done, what it did for a short time. Unfortunately, that did not last. So that's...
It really did bring us together.
For a short time, it did bring people together, and then, and then people started acting like idiots again.
So that's something, unfortunately, we're going to have to teach these two about. It sucks, but I don't know what they're going to do in kindergarten with her and whatnot, so.
I highly doubt they're going to explain it to kindergarten children.
Well, they're not going to explain exactly what happened.
Well, they're talking about making 9/11 a national holiday, which
that's good.
I personally think that should happen. It should be the people who died, the civilians who died, firefighters, EMTs, police officers, they all deserve to be remembered.
Yeah.
They deserve a day of remembrance, because, people dropped all their stuff. Some of them traveled, hundreds of miles to
help.
another state, another city, to help their fellow Americans. And that deserves recognition.
I agree.
So,